Welcome to the day 4 of the session, Introduction to Quantum Computation.
The topic we will be covering is vector space transformation, unitary transformation and gates. Vector space transformation तुम लोग ने पढ़ा है क्या? हेलो,
एग्जाम्पल क्या है इसमें?
हमने पढ़ा।
ओके, मैं ऊपर ऊपर से जाऊंगा बस इसमें. Wait. Okay, so you guys know about the vector space, right?
Yes.
Vector space. So it's like transformation is going from one vector space to another vector space. It's like function thing. A function for vector spaces that link them together. Like if let's say we have a vector which belongs to V, then this transformation of V will take it from this vector space V to W, and that will belong to this vector space V. So a transformation is a map from one vector space to another vector space. Okay, so if we draw a vector space like this and another vector space like this, so a transformation is just going from this vector space to this vector space. Okay, let's say this is V, then this point will be T V. Let's see this using an example. I will take V is 2 cross 1 matrix. 2 cross 1 matrix, V1 and V2 with a field complex number. So V1 comma V2 also belongs to the complex number, and your W can be a vector space. Wait, W1, W2, W3. You can see this V1 as a this thing X and Y. If you want to visualize it, imagine that this one is X, this is one is Y, and this vector space V is something like this is V1, this is V2, and this V is your this one, this line. Okay, and W is something like this. So it's a three-dimensional space. Let's see, visualize it using X, Y, Z. This is your X, this is your Y, this is your Z. So what it says that the first one is X, the second one is Y, and third one is Z. So it will be something like this. This one is W3. This one is your W2, and this one is W1. So this vector, this vector is your W. Okay, so it's something like this, 3 cross 1. F is your complex number, and omega 1, omega 2, and omega 3 belongs with that complex number field. So I want to make a transformation from this space to this space. So one thing I can do is take V transformation to W as we can do one thing, take this vector space V1 and V2 and make it a three-dimensional vector space, something like V1, this is equal to V1, V2, and take V1 plus V2. And as we know, V1 is a complex number, V2 is complex number, so addition of that will be a complex number as well. And if we see the definition of this W, it's just a complex number 1, complex number 2, complex number 3, right? So this will also belong to your W. So we can say that this transformation T takes a vector space V 2 cross 1 matrix for a dimension thing to a vector space W, which is a 3-dimensional space. Okay, 3 cross 1. Okay, so can you guys tell me a transformation from something like V1 and V2, where it takes from this 2-dimension to 3-dimension? Can you tell me another transformation? Like this is equal to what? Like it's 3 cross 1.
It can be V1, V2, and C V1 plus D V2.
Okay, CV1 plus DV2. Yeah, anything like that which takes from 2 vector space to 3 vector space. Anything like this V1. If you write V1 also, na, it will take this vector from this vector space to the 3-dimensional vector space, right? This is 2-dimension, this is 3-dimension. Anything you can make from this like combination of this V1 V2 and put it in the 3-dimensional space. It will be a transformation from T1 to from V1 to V2 via T1. So just like this thing, just function, your function from like fx is defined as y. This is function for your real number, right? X is real number, y is real number. This is transformation is a function for vector space. It takes a v to a w. Okay, so just like a function is defined in a different way, like a linear function, polynomial function, something like exponential function. There are different kind of transformation as well, right? If we take an example, linear transformation takes a vector space V to itself, vector space V. Okay, and what does linear transformation do is some for example, linear transformation can be a translation, like your V1 V2, and if you take T of this thing, it will give you some V1 plus constant C, V2 plus constant C. This is translation, right? It was something like this, and then this. Okay, wait, it's not translation. It changed the magnitude. Wait, wait. It will be something like V constant, something V naught plus V. V naught plus V. This will be a translation. You can also take a reflection, like if you're if in 2-dimensional, like something like this, you have a vector with this, you can take a transformation which takes a image through a line, something like this, like y is equal to something cx plus d. So if you take a translation, if you take a reflection through this line, initially it was something like this. If you take reflection, it will be something like this. Okay, so this is also a linear transformation. So just like your linear function, there is something called linear transformation. You will learn about this in your this linear algebra class in 4th semester, I guess. So but for our quantum mechanics, we only use quantum computation. We only use unitary matrix, unitary transformation. Okay, wait, just before unitary transformation, I need to tell you something. Okay, let's see the example of that one. V is equal to your x and wait, v1. This is v1 and v2, and your p of this thing, p of this v1 and v2 is equal to your v1, v2, and v1 plus v2. So there are some kind of transformation that can be mapped to a matrix. Okay, So let's for okay, where is it? Just like this thing, fx can be expanded as x square plus y square, x square plus 2x plus 3 plus something constant like that. This transformation of matrix, some transformation of vector space from one vector space to another vector space can be represented as matrix as well. Like if we take a t from this to this, we can say that there exists a matrix something like this, which takes this v1 and v2 from this vector space to this vector space, v1, v2, and v1 plus v2. If this is your 2 cross 1 matrix, this is 3 cross 1 matrix. So can you tell me what would be the dimension of this transformation matrix?
3 cross 2.
Right, 3 cross 2, it will be 3 cross 2 matrix. Okay, so let's see what we let's make a dimension. Okay, 1, 2, 3 cross 2 matrix. So let's see what will be the elements of this 3 cross 2 matrix. If we see, we put a here and b here. Wait, this p here. Your v1 will be equal to a into v1 plus b into v2, right? So here we can see that your a will be equal to 1 and b will be equal to 0, right? And if we see for the second one, this multiplied by this will give you 0. This multiplied by this plus this multiplied by this should give v2. So this thing will be 1 and this thing will be 0. And for the third one, both will be 1. So if we see, a transformation can also be written as a matrix. 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so you can say that t v is equal to is something like not exact equal to, can also be written as, you can say that can also be written as t matrix. Let's say this is t matrix dot product with this vector space v. Okay, so we can also write this thing. So let's say for the t1 v, this thing is equal to, let's say, v1 t of v1 v2. Let's say it's something like 1 by under root 2 v1 plus v2, v1 plus 1 by under root 2 v2, and 1 by under root 2 v1 plus v2. What will be the t1 matrix?
In the second row, is it 1 by 2 or 1 by
Yeah,
root
it should be 1 by under root 2. Sorry. Yeah.
One by root 2.
1 by root 2, 0,
Okay.
0, 1 by root 2, and 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2.
0? I heard
1.
0.
1, it
It will be 1.
1 by root 2,
1 by
and
root
1
2, 1.
Yeah, it will be 1, 1, not 0.
Yeah, it's 1 root 2, 1, 1, 1 by under root 2, and this will be under
And 1
1 by
root 2,
under root.
1.
Okay, so we can write our transform just like we can write our this element of that vector space in a matrix form. We can write the transformation of that vector space from one vector space to the another vector space in the form of matrix as well. Okay, so but remember this, that every transformation can't be written in this vector form. There are some transformation that can't be written in this matrix form. Just like if we see a function like this is a function, right? You can write y is equal to something something. But if we see this one, something like this isn't called even a function, because for 1x there are multiple values of y. Just like that, transformation also works. There are some transformation that gives 1 1 mapping. There are some transformation that gives 2 2 mapping. Sorry, onto mapping. That something like that. There are different kind of maps as well. So the map we will be looking for is your unitary mapping. Unitary mapping. Why would we looking for this one? It has some unique properties. Something like the first one is the if we write this unitary mapping as a matrix form, its conjugate transpose will be U inverse. Okay, so you can write this thing as U conjugate transpose U is equal to U into U conjugate transpose is equal to identity. Something like that. You sorry. This is also called unitary matrix. Like unitary matrix behave this way, that their conjugate transpose is equal to their inverse. Okay. The second property it holds is that it conserves the magnitude of the vector it's transforming. It conserves the magnitude. So like something like you have a state q which is defined at like something 0 plus 0 plus 1 under root 2, right? So the q has a probability of 1. Okay, so 0.5 probability of 0 plus 0.5 probability of this one thing, and it has a probability of 0. Let's say that this q has a probability of 1. Okay, so if we apply this unitary map on that this q, u applied on q, and it gives us u let's say call it u1, then probability of being in u1 state will be 1. Like in the new vector space, the probability of being in the probability of state being in q1 will be 1. Okay, so it conserves the magnitude of this thing. Conserve the magnitude of that vector that it's transforming. Something like imagine that you have a q is like q1 plus q2 x y. Okay, and you have a x mod square probability of being in q1 state and y mod square probability of being in q2 state. Okay, so if we do a transformation of this thing using this unitary transformation, and for this q1 it comes to be q1 dash, then the q1 dash also will also have a x square probability of this state will also have a x square probability of being in q1 state. Okay, so it conserves the magnitude of this state. The second thing is the second priority that we will be talking about is that it conserves the angle between the states. So let's say we have a state q1 and a state q2, and angle between them is like, let's say, pi by 2. Okay, so if we transform this q1 q2, like say q1 is equal to your q1 dash, and q2 is equal to q2 dash, then this q1 dash and q2 dash in the new vector space, this is this is vector space, this is vector space, u is taking from this one to this one. So this q1 dash and q2 dash will also have an angle between them of pi by 2. So it conserves the angle between this this vectors that you are transforming. Okay, so why do we need this thing? The first one, that conserve the magnitude, we want it for the probability thing, right? So we want this thing conserves the angle, because I haven't shown you the Bloch sphere, right? Okay, so we will talk about this conservation of angle when I talk about this Bloch sphere thing in the next session. Okay, so when we transform a vector from one vector space, this V, to another V, the angle between the vectors remains conserved. Something like that. Say this one gets flipped by this, and this one gets flipped by this. Something like this. Then the angle between this thing will be conserved. Okay, so we will talk about this in when I will teach you the Bloch sphere, I guess. Yeah. So these are the properties of this unitary matrix. So we use we use unitary mapping for our this gate determinant. This what can I say? The operator thing. Yeah. Unitary transformation. Okay, so all our gates that we put in our circuit, like something like Q0, then you have a H, and from 0 it becomes plus. This gate has a matrix, right? This matrix is also unitary matrix. Every gate in our quantum computation is a unitary transformation from one state to another. Let's say this 0 belong to vector space that I gave it a Q, right? In the day one, we said that your Q belongs to this Q. So initially it was 0, and it's being transformed by this H, and the mapping is from 0 to 1, 0 to this plus thing. If we take H 0, then it will make it a 1 plus. If we give it a 1, it will take the vector space from 1 to make it minus. Okay, something like this. So this H string transforms our vector space from one vector to another. So all our gates in this QC is a transformation. Is nothing but a transformation from one vector space to the another vector space. Taking that another vector space is also the same one. Like Q can be given to Q to V, but in the quantum mechanics, this quantum computation, the second vector space is also Q. So we go from Q to Q. Okay. So did you guys get it? Like,
No, can you explain it?
okay. So what did I say? I said that. Wait. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, so I said that a transformation takes a vector space V to another vector space W, right? So if we take V is equal to your Q, that Q vector space I talked to you about earlier, that every quantum state Q belongs to that vector space Q. I had defined it in earlier videos, right?
Please again define it. I didn't join in the first lecture. I am from the second lecture.
Okay, so the keyword Q was defined in this way, like Q is a vector space of 2 cross 1 dimension where X and Y is this thing, where X belongs to Y comma X comma Y belongs to a complex number with a condition that X mod square plus mod Y square is equal to 1. This is your vector space Q. Okay, so if we take V is equal to Q and W is equal to Q, this vector space, so we can say that the transformation T is mapping from the same vector space to the same vector space, the Q vector space to Q vector space. It's being mapped from the same vector space. Something like this is your let's say this is your vector space. So mapping and this is your vector space. Both are the same vector space. Then T is mapping from this to this. Okay. We can also say that if this is your vector space, then T is mapping from itself, from it to itself. Okay. We can also say it like this. If this is your Q, this is your Q, this is your Q, this is your Q. Okay. So if we define it this way, then all of our this gate thing, the gate we put, like H gate, this thing S gate, X gate. What does this X gate and H gate does? It takes a input of this Q. Let's say Q belongs to this Q, and takes this state to another state that also belongs to Q, right? Let's say the initially we started with 0. What does a H does? It takes it to 1, to plus, right? So H is also a transformation from Q to Q. Did you get this? Hello, Panda?
Yes, I got
Yeah, okay. So just like this one, if we take a X gate, something like this, let's say X, what does it do? It takes 0 to 1. Okay. And if we take a random state like XY, and we apply a X gate, it flips it, right? It make this one Y and this one X. So this is also a transformation from Q to Q. So every gate in QC quantum computation is a unitary transformation from the vector space Q to a vector space Q means itself, from a vector space to itself. Okay. Every gate in the this thing quantum computation, every gate is a transformation, is a unique transformation. Like H is a unique transformation. It transforms from this something this. X is a different transformation. Your Y will be a different transformation. Everything Rx will be a different transformation. Okay, so all these are things are just transformation. It's not like physical gates, like taking 0 1 and something like this and making it this is 0 and this this is 0 and this is 0, then this will be 0, something like take it OR gate. So in quantum mechanics, it's not actually a gate, it's a transformation, right? We represent it as a gate in our circuit, but it's actually a transformation from a vector space Q to itself. Okay, so let's find the matrix of your X. So as I said, transformation can have a matrix representation as well, because our state are being represented in matrix. So just like linear transformation, unitary transformation can also have a matrix, right? So if we say X is a matrix, and what does it do? It takes X comma Y to a state Y comma X. So as x is a complex number, y is a complex number, and mod x square plus mod y square. Let's imagine this belongs to V, right? Sorry, Q. So this will also belong to Q, as the x square mod x square plus mod y square is 1, and for this one also mod y square plus mod x square is equal to 1, and both are complex numbers. So this also belongs to Q. So tell me, what would be matrix of x? Just looking at this one,
0 1
0
and
1
0.
1 0.
right? 0 1 1 0. This multiplied by this, y will be there, and this. Okay, so we can represent our gates in a matrix form as well. So there's a y gate, something like this. Okay, so what does it do is, when you apply it on xy, it makes it, let me see, iota minus iota, sorry, iota into y and minus iota into x. Can you tell what will be the y matrix?
0 I minus I 0.
0 I
I
minus I.
minus I 0.
Yeah. Okay. So this will be your y matrix. So let's see about the z one also. What does a z do to a x and y? It makes the one state go from 1 to -1, right? So it will be x and minus y. So what's the matrix for this z?
1 0 0 minus 1.
0 0 -1, right? So these three matrix, x, y, and z, are called Pauli matrix. Pauli matrix. You will learn about this in the quantum mechanics class taken by our DOA. What's his name? Saumitro Banerjee. He will talk about this x, y, z, and Pauli's matrix and the rotation matrices as well. Okay. So for now, just remember that x and y and z are Pauli matrix. For some quantum books also represent it as represent x matrix as psi x or psi 1, y as psi y, psi 2, and your z as psi z and psi 3, psi 3. These are also represented in this way. Okay, so we had another matrix, right? Let me go through. Yeah, okay. So do you guys know about the Hadamard gate? Hadamard gate. Hadamard.
No, bhaiya.
Okay, so
It comes from
after
0 to
x, y, z,
+1
the
minus.
basics of the matrix, basics of this quantum gate, there is something called Hadamard gate. Okay, there is this gate has been made from the transformation called Hadamard transformation. Every gate in this quantum computation is a you can call it a rip-off of a transformation, like vector transformation. So this Hadamard gate is a rip-off of your Hadamard transformation. You can't call it a rip-off. It does the same thing, like just by putting it on the circuit, you do this Hadamard transformation. So what does a Hadamard gate looks like? It's something like this. It's 1 by under root 2, 1, 1, 1, and minus 1. So the main property of this Hadamard gate is that if you apply it on 0, and let's say this is your Hadamard gate H, what it does is it gives you the like superposition of all state with equal probability. Position of states with equal probability. So if we apply it on 0, it will give you something like this: 0.5 probability of 0 and 0.5 probability of 0 of 1. Okay, so this gate is widely used for all algorithm because what it makes the state from 0 to equally probable for all the state. So if you want a specific state to be emerging at the output, you want all the state to be starting with the same probability. So you can play with the like something like play with the constructive and destructive interference of your what's it said your relative phase, and then you get the outputs as the desired state. Okay, so we will learn about use of this Hadamard in later videos. Okay, so let's see what does what this. Let's control C and control V. Okay, so let's see. I wanna apply your H gate on XY. Just find what will be the resultant state. This 2x1 matrix will be something like large 2x1 matrix.
One by root two.
X plus y by root 2, x minus
Again.
y by root 2.
X.
X plus y
Okay.
by root 2. X minus y by root 2.
So let's see what it does to if we take one state like 0 dot 1 and 0. What will this be? It will be x plus y, that's 1 by under root 2 and 1 by under root 2. Okay, so this is just like I said in earlier classes, that basis of a vector space is not unique, right? You can have a basis of your vector space as 0 1 and 0 1, and you can also have a vector space like 1 1 and 1 minus 1, right? These are the two sets of basis you can have in a vector space of like xy, two-dimensional vector space. So if we apply this Hadamard to 1 0, it will give something like this, and if we apply it to 0 1, it will give something like 1 by under root 2, this thing, and this will be minus 1 by under root 2, this thing. So these two states together also form a basis, right? These are linearly independent. If you take a dot product of these two, you will get 0, right? And the what can I say? The magnitude is also 1. The magnitude of this whole square plus this whole square is also 1. So these belongs to your vector space Q, and they are like orthogonal. So they can be a basis of this vector space Q. So what does this H do? One of the property of this H is it takes your this measurement basis from 0 and 1 to another basis. That's this. Let's call this as plus and this as minus. So it takes this measurement basis from 0 to 1, 0 comma 1 to another basis, that's 1 minus 1. So the Hadamard is also widely used for this thing, from going from one basis to another. And for information, this is your measurement in Z basis, and this is measurement in X basis. We will see about this in when we learn about the Bloch square. Okay, so the next section. So this is measurement in Z basis as 0 and 1, and this is measurement in X basis. So if someone says that they want to measure a state in X basis, what does it mean? That they will apply a H gate at the end and then take the measurement, something like this. So because of these two things, like transformation of basis, and it makes the superposition of state with the equal probability. This Hadamard is one of the widely used gates of all. Okay, so there are more gates like U1, U2, U3, RX, RY. We will learn about that in like after Bloch square. Like maybe during the Bloch square, I will talk to about how this RY deal the transformation in that Bloch square, and these other things also. Okay, so let's end it with this Hadamard gate, and I will talk to you about the Bloch square in the next session. All the things that I showed you in that whiteboard is available in this slides as well, like topics, this transformation from V to W, something like this. For all for this thing, transformation V belongs to W, for all V belongs to V, something like this. Vector switch, okay. Transformation I defined this transformation, this thing, then made the matrix, this thing. Transformation of V can also be written as transformation of matrix dot V is equal to W. Everything that I talked to you about is there in the slide. Okay, so I will provide the slide as well and send you the link. You guys have the GitHub link, right? I will upload it on the GitHub. Okay, so see you in the next session.